Okay, this is my video for lesson 11. And the first question, as always, says, I completed the individual preparation assignment before attending the group meeting, which is true. 2 is, I actively participated in this lesson's group meeting, which is true. Number 3 says, in previous lessons, we have assumed the population standard deviation was known. In this lesson, we are making a different assumption about the standard deviation. What has changed? So what's changed is that now we assume that the standard deviation is unknown. Then the next one says that the null hypothesis is 8. The null hypothesis is that mu equals 8, and the alternative hypothesis is that it is greater than 8. And the population standard deviation is not known. Becca collects a sample size of 9 and computes that x bar is 11 and s is 6. And this will be used for questions 4 and 5. So 4 says that is sigma known? And that is no, it's not known. And then 5 says, what is the value of t? And by plugging that into the SPSS, I got 1.5. And then the next portion says, use the following values which were pulled from the data file body temp. Copy and paste them into the software you're assigned to use. And using the null hypothesis of 98.6 and the alternative hypothesis of less than 98.6 and a level of significance of 0.05, what is x bar? So x bar is 98.220. And then the next one says, what is s? And s is 0.922. Number 8 says, what is the t-score? And that ended up being negative 1.843. Number 9, what is the p-value? And that was 0.041. And so the next question says, what is the correct decision based on this evidence? And the correct decision would be to reject the null hypothesis based on its relation to alpha. Then it says, use the following values which were pulled from the data file baby boom. These are the wait time in minutes between births at a hospital. Copy and paste them into the software you're assigned to use. And the hospital claims that the average time between births is 40 minutes and plans its resource allocation based on this claim. And you want to test their claim. And you select the null hypothesis of 40. So your first alternative hypothesis is not 40, and you use a level of significance of 0.01. And what is the p-value? So with all of that information, that turned out to be 0.995. And number 12 says, what decision do you make? And so based on that information, we would fail to reject the null hypothesis. Number 13 is you decide to try another alternative hypothesis, and this time you use less than 40, and you keep the same level of significance. Did the p-value increase or decrease? And the answer is that it decreased. And then what decision do you make based on that information? And you would still fail to reject the null hypothesis because of its relation to alpha. And then finally, 15 says, compare the width of the confidence interval for question 11 to the confidence interval for question 13. Which one is wider? And I thought that it was question 13, but it turns out that they are the same, which now I can see. So I just got a little bit confused on that one, but that is my lesson 11.